Hello and welcome to a special edition of the Sosbans and Sidesteps podcast. Joining me, Big M, I am delighted to bring you Scarlets loose head prop, Sam O'Connor. Thank you for joining me. How are you?
Yeah, all good, mate. Just having me.
Yeah. So, you've been with the Scarlets for 6 years now, 2019 when you first signed. So, tell us a little bit about your rugby journey. When did you first start rugby? Your club, and you've come through the Exiles program. So, how did you become a Scarlet?
Yeah, so I started playing rugby when I was around 14, 15, so quite late. So yeah, I joined in my Thomas Hardy school when I was back in England. Yeah, I was quite lucky to be in a good team because we went on to win Vars Cup in Twickenham, so that was quite nice. And then played for my club then, Dutchster RFC, for 2 seasons. And then on the back of that, I got picked up by Bath. Spent a season and a half there around, played the Wellington Under-18s Festival. And then, yeah, joined the Welsh Exiles program, went through there, played Llandovery, and then joined Llandovery College. And then Scarlets, well, obviously in talks with my brother. And then they obviously asked about me and saw me. So, yeah, I signed for Scarlets and joined Llandovery College and went through the ranks there then.
I mean, it sounds a bit like you piggybacked onto your brother, but
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
So, like I said, you've been here since 2019. Now, a couple of years ago, you and Eddie James got to go down to Linwood RFC in New Zealand. So, how did you manage? How did that come about? And what was the experience like?
How it came about was it was at the end of the season. Like, there's only a couple of games left, and Cubby basically just came up to me, Eddie, and just said like opportunity out in New Zealand to get a bit of game time because obviously we had COVID, and that sort of took away like our first year of senior rugby, obviously with the Quins and whatever. So yeah, we just sort of jumped on it. Obviously long old flight over there, but no, it was well worth it. Straight into action. Obviously got the chance to explore New Zealand and do a different brand of rugby, and it was brilliant. I really enjoyed out there.
Yeah, so you say it was a different brand of rugby. So can you just explain a bit more like how was it faster? Was it more physical? How would you have describe it comparing to the Super Rugby Cymru up here then?
Yeah, so obviously I didn't have that exposure as much as I would have hoped for, but obviously in New Zealand they have to chuck a ball about, so like they play from anywhere. Obviously like own 22 they're playing, and obviously you got the big Islander boys in. So I was in Linwood, like we had a lot of Islanders in our pack, so I was lucky enough to be amongst them rather than tackling them. So yeah, just the physicality and how sort of loose the game was yeah.
That's massive. It's always different going southern and north. So
Yeah.
it's really good to hear. So if we come to you as a scholar, so you've been playing with Carmarthen Quins here and there. You got 11 appearances to date as well. So you're a very young loose head prop.
Yeah.
What's it like being a front row coming into the URC?
Yeah, it's tough. It's obviously, obviously coming on the weekend against a two-time World Cup winner. Like, it's obviously there's a lot of pressure, and you just gotta back yourself and just sort of back your process, and it's more just just backing yourself and believing you're good enough to go against them boys. And the more experience you get playing for like the likes of Carmarthen Quins, like it's massive because obviously in the Super Rugby League you can come against like a 30-year-old tight head, but he knows all the rules and different angles, and like he'll teach you a lesson. Like, so it's taking them lessons and just getting better week out.
So are you just a loose head, or do you go over to the tight sometimes, or even hooker on occasion?
No, we've never scrummaged tight head and hooker and whatever. Sort of, I've only got a loose head, but I'd be open to trying. Like, it's whatever it is, isn't it?
Yeah, I've always found tight head is more fun, but I always preferred being on the loose myself. So you've played alongside some greats. You've had British Lions, like Wyn Jones, in your position, coming up, in training against Henry Thomas. So, what are these boys like in training? Are they full on, or do they give you a bit of a free pass?
Now, obviously, it's competition's competition at the end of the day, but when you're young, you're a young prop. You obviously you want to try pick the brains of the likes of Wyn Jones and boys who've like been there and done it. So, no, all the boys like through the years and whatever, they've been really good, and I've tried picking their brains and just trying to get better.
So, what would you say is the best bit of advice you've been given then?
That's a bit of advice. Probably like scrummaging wise, just like process, like get your process, whatever. But then in training, don't be afraid to get involved. Like just get involved and go full whack. Like
So we see lots of different types of props. We see, nowadays we see more athletic props who can move the ball around, and then you still got your old, I scrummage. That's all I do. So what type of player would you describe yourself as?
I'd like to think I'm quite an athletic prop. Like I'm quite fast. Like I'd obviously want to obviously set pieces. That's your job. You got to get that done. But I also try to think myself of trying to get in the ball and show that other side. Like
Yeah, that's brilliant. So if we come on to the team now, I don't want to talk about this past Saturday because I'm still a little bit too upset. But it's a West Wales derby now this Saturday, as you well know. There's biggest crowd of the season expected. What's it been like in the week so far? Has the intensity gone up? Is anything different?
Well, obviously we came in on Monday and frustration, obviously the weekend and what have you. But yeah, we had an honest review, which we needed, and today, yeah, the intensity of the session was through the roof. Obviously, Derby week, like it's massive. It means a lot to the boys, and you can bank on all the boys being up for this game, and we want to go out there and win. Like,
Okay, so you're gonna have to refresh my memory, but have you played in a West Wales derby yet?
no, I don't think I've played a Welsh team yet.
I haven't played a Welsh team yet. Wow, not in the URC at least. Wow, so
Yeah,
this could be big for you. I mean, you turned out on the weekend, which is obviously great for you and your career, and us to see some more young players developing. So, how do you learn then as a pro? Like we've spoken with Archie Hughes and Charlie Titcombe, and they've said about how they watch a lot of rugby to learn off other players, learn different things. So how do you educate yourself as being a prop? Is it very much the same? Do you just watch scrums for hours and hours?
Oh yeah, well, me and Charlie live together, so obviously he's rugby mad. Like he'll watch every game, and I'm more or less sat next to him watching the games on the weekend. Like so, we all watch a lot of rugby. I think you have to get like understand the game and get better. But yeah, when it comes to scrums, like yeah, after a session, like you've got to look at your process and the scrums and just how you can get better and like what other loose heads are doing and how they're scrummaging. It's trying to pick up every like little details.
I'm really interested in this relationship with Charlie and I watching rugby together. Is it every scrum with his decision? Does he just turn to you going, what just happened there, but?
Yeah, he's obviously trying to like obviously trying to like he's asking like, oh, what's going on now? I'm like, well,
attention, please. This is
it's always like,
emergency.
it's hard to see when looking at the screen and
Being
they're
evacuated.
trying to
Please leave the
tell him
building.
you can't see. Like when you're there, it's so different. That's why referees are so hard to actually get the right call most of the time.
Yeah, it is fun. So that's the easy part of this interview. Dan, we're going into some really hard hitting stuff here. So quick fire questions. Top of your head, as soon as you know the answer, just say it straight away. You ready?
The nearest exit. Do not use the lifts.
Now we're going to go through some quick fire questions now. So
Top
of your head, straight answer.
Happy, yeah.
Okay. Been bigging this up. I've been trying to think of a good one for you, but I don't think I've got one quite yet. So tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Favorite player growing up?
Joe Marler.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Teleportation.
That's a new one. I like that. Fair play. If you could be any animal, what would you be?
Eagle.
Scrum or line out?
Scrum.
Any pre-match superstitions?
Left boot on every time first.
Last meal on earth, what would it be?
Lasagna.
Lasagna, solid. Having a dinner
Mm.
party, any 3 guests, any period of time, any sport, political, whatever you want. What 3 dinner guests are you having?
Adam Sandler, my brother, and Phil John.
Oh, you've got 2 of them down already, man. What's going on, mate? All right, then. Thank you so much for joining me. That's all my questions answered, Sam. So, to all our listeners, if you've enjoyed this, please like, share, subscribe, follow, and we look forward to bringing more content like this. Sam, thank you once again, and we'll see you all the next one.
Cheers,
Bye.
thank you for having me.